Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
It's March Mania at Sports Interaction. NHL, NBA, March Madness, MLB, and so much more. It's bananas. Play Pinata Picks and Minute Madness, exclusive games with insane odds you can't play anywhere else. Make your next bet with Sports Interaction. Download the app in Ontario, use the QR code you see at the bottom of the screen, or head to sportsinteraction.com/STPN to get started. 19 plus, please play responsibly.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game Over Vancouver. Today, well, I'm Kaja May, not just today, but the Flames won 5-4 on OT against the Vancouver Canucks on the Pride Night and also on Trans Day of Visibility. I'm joined by Sam and Allie today, and yeah, overtime. That was a game that happened. Sam? Do you hate the refs as much as I do right now?
I hate the refs. I don't know if I hate them as much as Rick Tocchet hates them.
Oh, yeah.
Or Elias Pettersson.
He was giving them death glares. I was like, yeah, at least he's serving something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was certainly a call. Before we get into all of that, yes, they lost in OT, but how did we get to OT, first of all? Well, it started with the Canucks were winning 4-3. Then there is the fourth penalty against the Canucks the entire game when Walker Dewar, is that his name? I think. Yes. All right.
That was the first time I've heard of him.
Yeah, I have the Flames on notifications on Twitter for some ungodly reason, but that's how I know who he is. Anyway, Pettersson had his stick over top of Dewar's stick. Dewar lifts the stick while Pettersson's stick is on it because object permanence, kids, and it hits him in the face. Which, you know, if you lift something up and it's closer to your face, it might hit your face, including the stick. And then Pettersson is called for high sticking, even though he's not the guy who put the... Anyway, Rock Tocchet? Rick Tocchet was not...
You should call him Rock from now on. I like
Rock? It. Yeah, Rock Tocchet. He was not pleased with this call. Neither was Elias Pettersson. Neither was I. He kept asking the ref if he was serious. And then on that kill, Huberdeau scores makes it 4-4. And then there's another Canucks penalty kill for the stupid puck over glass. I hate that rule so much. Unless it's obviously intentional, why is it a penalty? And then we go to overtime. Phil DiGiuseppe almost scores, and then Tyler Toffoli does, because of course he does. It's against the Canucks. Yeah. Otherwise, Jacob Markstrom masterclass on how to not be a goalie tonight. At one point there were 4 goals on 13 shots, which is not good, especially if you're supposed to be the number 1 in Calgary. I know they have a lot of issues going on right now, considering they also have to all play in Alberta, but at the same time, their goaltending is not it. Their goal support was there this game, but it's not usually. Huberdeau, for example, he didn't score on a penalty shot, and he had how many points last year? Anyway, that's aside from the point. Impressions of the game overall.
I mostly just sat there and watched the Flames shots just go up and up and up. And it reminded me that on the Broadcast Twitter account, we used to tweet a meme that was like, "Stop trying to kill Thatcher." And yeah, this was one of those "stop trying to kill Thatcher" nights. That was my primary impression, but also, yes, Jacob Markstrom, terrible performance. Very happy we are not paying him. Very unhappy that we did not apparently have time to sign Tyler Toffoli, who wanted to stay here. Mm-hmm. Very, very happy that Troy from Richmond scored.
Yes, that was the second goal I cheered for. So oh yeah, completely missed that. Aiden McDonough, first career NHL goal. So congratulations to him. First guy in the huddle with him was friend Jack Rathbone.
He looked so happy. It was so
He
wholesome.
did. It was, and then Jack Studnicka runs in. Kyle Burrows grabs the puck. It was perfect. He actually stole the puck. The puck was stolen on that play from Milan Lucic, so another local boy. But he's probably the only one that gets booed when he comes here. Anyway, it's hard to tell with the Luch, the boo. Anyway, yeah. Aiden McDonough, first NHL goal. And then Stetcher ties it up 3-3. It was a back and forth a lot in the second period. After the Canucks made it 2-0 initially. Well, it was 1-0 at the end of the first with Connor Garland with an interesting check on Michael Backlund. Just goes in by himself, and I'm like, okay, I guess. And then on the Mangiapane power play for hooking, Pettersson scores, because of course he does. 14-game point streak. Toffoli, who stole the puck off Tyler Myers. Yeah, that's a reoccurring thing, is Tyler Myers and Guillaume Brisebois. I can't pronounce his first name right. I am so sorry. The Breeze. Blah. Anyway, who eventually did actually leave the game with an injury, so hopefully he's okay, but that pairing just does not go well together at all in any capacity.
It was really bad.
It's really bad. It was really bad tonight. Yeah, Toffoli stole the puck off Myers. Myers couldn't get there in time for the Coleman goal. What's the other one? Yeah, on the Stetcher goal, which, go Stetcher, but it was also his 100th point of his NHL career, I believe. So, they left Stetcher open because Brisebois went onto Myers' side of the ice while Myers just kind of stayed there. And then when Beauvillier scored to make it 4-3, it actually counted as a goal. They were on for a goal 4 because that was 14 seconds after Stetcher's goal. Yeah, Tyler Myers moment in the chat. Yeah, thanks for giving us to him. Liz is in the chat from Game Over Winnipeg for context. But yeah, Demko had quite the night for him. And of course, the Canucks defense did nothing to help. Except for Quinn Hughes skating good, I guess.
The usual.
The usual. Yeah, it was a game. It was a game. Allie, do you have any opinions from just a general viewpoint of the game tonight?
As in not a regular Canucks watcher.
Yes, as a not regular Canucks watcher, can you still tell the chaotic vibes? Can you still catch on to the chaotic vibes of Tyler Myers?
Definitely, yes. Thanks for having me on, first of all. But in terms of watching the game, I mean, what's more shocking is Calgary, like, trying not to win this game as hard as they could for a lot of it. Like, it is shocking to me as someone who has watched a Toronto Maple Leafs team who couldn't make the playoff for years, and like, for all the things that we do very poorly, they tried very hard to get in for the most part. So watching this Calgary team is just perplexing. But yeah, it was a Thatcher Demko show tonight, and I think sadly the Canucks should be walking away being thankful that they managed to scrape a point out of that. I actually was curious how it would go if it went to shootout, but we didn't get there. So yeah, a little bit more of a slower overtime, but we'll see if Calgary manages to make the playoffs, because I thought that Vancouver wanted to be a bit of a spoiler and couldn't quite pull it together this game.
I think the only thing they're spoiling is their top 10 draft pick position.
I know you feel strongly about that.
This is just depressing.
Yeah, it would be a hard time to be a Canuck fan right now. I've been there.
Like, no one needs to go on a March run.
No.
Except for the Flames, but
yeah, sorry. I didn't need to suffer through like the first half of the season and the firing of Bruce Boudreau to have absolutely zero payoff.
Yeah, like it's all for nothing essentially of what Canucks fans have been put through this season. Also, fun fact, they released the season ticket letter the other day in a completely unreadable font, so I haven't actually seen it, but God, I don't love it. Anyway.
I saw it and saw it was 2 pages and really long and was just like, yeah, I'm not reading that.
Yeah, I was like, you can't even like alt text it too? Like, bro.
They needed a TLDR, buy tickets, because we need your money. And they should just add that.
TLDR, sorry, we're shit. Anyway. Because it was from Rutherford too, right? It wasn't even from ownership. It was from Jim Rutherford, who is partially to blame for this, for what's happened this year. So
It's still better than the one year they made Travis Green do it.
what?
There was a year where the season ticket holder letter, I think, was signed by Travis Green.
Oh my god, that's terrible. Oh my gosh. I didn't actually know that, but I that's arguably worse. Yeah, the Canucks, there's a rock and there's a hard place. The hard place is getting to the playoffs. The rock is well, not Rick Tocchet, it's Connor Bedard. And we are not between either of them right now. Well, we are kind of between either of them, but we are not close to either. English. Yeah, we started the season 0-7. I still think back to that first game over where I was like, you know what? It's just one game. It's just one game. It's not going to be this bad. It's not going to be this bad the rest of the season. It's not going to be this bad. And then I had to cover like the 7th loss in a row, and I think that's when I just started just screaming.
So aren't you thankful for this March string then?
I want to fight somebody. Like, get Elias Pettersson to 100 points and just lose every single game. Like, I was not Team Tank. I will not claim myself to be Team Tank. But why are we trying to why are we just sitting in a little middleman, like no man's land situation? There's no need for that.
I feel like you started the season very neutrally between Clay, who's like very positive, and me, was like full on Team Tank. And I feel like you've swung much more towards Team Tank.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just like I feel like as I age, I get more pessimistic.
But
Talk
I would
about
also
age.
I would also say they maybe swung you towards Team Tank. Like maybe that wasn't an independent movement.
Oh,
and
it was
they
not
showed up the
independent.
way they did for the
It,
first.
yeah, it was not at all independent. Everyone hates the mushy middle. Thank you. Yes. Go Jets, I guess, because they were in this spot kind of last year. Well, not really, but we were also in this spot last year. We ended up in the middle again, and then we drafted 15th overall. And yeah, and I'm not saying that, low draft picks are always not good. Brock Besser was 23rd overall. We can argue about whether or not that was that's been a good choice for Vancouver. Personally, I think it is, and considering that Boston completely fumbles their 3 they had before. Yeah, 2015, hell of a draft. Aside from that, late draft picks aren't always the worst, but they aren't always the best. They're not the top 10 that you kind of are aspiring to, especially in this year where there's a lot of prospects coming through, namely Connor Bedard, but Columbus already got dibs. So mainly Connor Bedard, but there's other like Michkov, Fantilli. There's other guys available. There's other guys out there. So you want the top 10, right? In a deep draft, and we're sitting just out of that because Elias Pettersson decides to be too good. And I'm not going to tell him that he needs to be bad, but he also probably should watch what players are holding onto his stick for him anyway. Yeah, that I'm still mad about the refs. I'm still mad at that. That's the only reason we lost this game. That, and also we kind of just left Demko in the dirt. But that's just experienced Vancouver hockey. Every time. Okay. Now that the game recap is over, we're here to talk a little bit. It's obviously Canucks Pride Night tonight, which was in the news a bit today. Canucks Pride Night. They had their jerseys released yesterday. They had drag performances before the show. They had in-arena performances. They had a lot going on tonight for Pride Night, and the organization also made donations towards You Can Play and community, and I believe also the Vancouver Pride Society, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So, okay, yes, producer Rob is telling me yes. Yes, so also Vancouver Pride Society. So obviously doing some community work as well. Most of the players wore Pride jerseys. Notably, Andrei Kuzmenko did not. As one of kind of the faces of the franchise this season. Slightly disappointing. It was cited by Rick Tocchet as a family decision, and we know that obviously he came over from Russia this past year. We don't necessarily know exactly the extent of the situation with why he refused to wear the jersey. It was a family decision. It was supported by other players. Quinn Hughes was asked about it. Ethan Bear was asked about it. They both supported the Pride Night and wearing of Pride jerseys. The Canucks released a video earlier today featuring a lot of players. Anthony Beauvillier was their model for showing off the Pride jerseys. They also published a video of everyone using Pride tape. They had the Pride ad boards, but a lot of people did think about like Kuzmenko and other players that have, which it's a different situation with Kuzmenko than like a Reimer, for example, because Reimer outright just made a statement. I have these religious beliefs and they go against, people existing the way they want to exist. And my choices are affecting he used the term lifestyle, which I think is just the stupidest thing. Anyway. Yeah. It's a different situation to Reimer because that was obvious, and like the Stahl brothers and, that whole thing in Florida, because there wasn't exactly a reason. It was a family decision. There was no actual like religious reason, which was what we heard with the Russian player Ivan Provorov, which kind of kickstarted this whole thing. And then Ilya Lyubushkin recently said it was for safety reasons, I believe, for the Buffalo Sabres. He now plays for the Buffalo Sabres, and they had their Pride Night a few nights ago. Kuzmenko, there was no real, like, Tocchet spoke for him, essentially. There's just speculation.
I think he did answer some questions
He did answer some
after the game,
okay.
Through Kravtsov.
Through Kravtsov, okay. Okay.
I don't think he gave much more than what they had already said, though.
Okay, so that would be good. Or could you send them to me? All right.
I thought it was interesting the way they approached. I thought the Canucks did the best job they could in the circumstances. I thought the in-arena handling of Pride Night was excellent. The Canucks in-arena staff always does a really great job on these nights. I thought it was yet another extremely clean and beautiful jersey. I really liked Gemma Carson-Smith tweeted a photo of the ice before the game, and they didn't just use the Canucks Pride logo, they also used the Flames Pride logo, and I thought that was a really nice touch. So I thought the team overall did a great job. I think it was good that they didn't actually put out a statement on team letterhead the way the Sharks did for Reimer. I think you don't need to amplify that or put the organization's weight behind it. And I thought they did the best they could in the circumstances.
Yeah, so we have this tweet from Thomas Rance. Kuzmenko speaking through a translator, Vitaly Kravtsov, and addressing his decision not to wear a Pride sweater. I respect everybody and everybody's choices, and hope everybody can respect mine. Asked if he's concerned about his family, Kuzmenko offers no comment.
We should just be clear that not a choice.
Yeah. It's a choice not to wear a sweater. It's a choice to wear it. It is not a choice for me to like women. Anyway.
I do agree with you, Sam, though, that it's walking a fine line of keeping players accountable, but then also focusing on the really positive swings that we're seeing in the game and the players that are speaking up and not giving no comment. Like, that's one of the first kind of no comments we've seen this season. So I think the Canucks did a really good job, and I really admire every single special night that the Canucks have done. They've nailed it out of the water. Special shout out to Christina Herrick, who I was reading about, who designed the jersey. And I just loved how much of it they kept local. Like they had a 2S individual in the ceremony who was local. Then they used a local jersey designer, like just phenomenal little touches that just made the whole night strung together really, really well. That I can definitely appreciate as an out of market hockey fan. That you get to see those little bits of Vancouver and kind of bring some of that life we're always begging hockey to give us. So I did think they did a really good job there.
And I thought actually a lot of the Canucks players gave really strong quotes. Like I definitely was surprised by the comments Quinn Hughes made over the last couple of days. I thought they were really articulate and really well spoken. I actually really enjoyed Ethan Bear's quote where he was just straight up like, I can't really relate to it. It was kind of like, yeah, I've heard you out and it makes no sense. And I was like, I could learn from that. Instead of trying to engage, I could just be like, you don't make any sense. Bye.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Allie.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, during the first intermission, they were talking about, Pride Night, on the Sportsnet stream, and Ian McIntyre had a good point of saying that he's Christian. He related to Ethan Bear's statement as in he doesn't understand why people just don't wear it. He doesn't understand, like his brain doesn't think that way. And yeah, I thought that was an interesting.
The Bear quote was, it's just kind of confusing. I never think that way, so I can't really relate. I was just like, I enjoyed that so much.
He's so great. I want to keep him so bad. Anyway, Allie, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think two things. I've laughed with Sam about this before, but I don't understand what PR folks are doing in the NHL, because Quinn Hughes was obviously very caught off guard by that question, and he still did a good job answering it. And I mean, I want to, give him his claps for giving a good answer, but also it was kind of a bare minimum answer too. So I think we have ways to go in having real conversations of how we can be more informed and bring more local folks to the table and kind of show some more stories and be better allies. And then my second comment was just about Ethan Bear. Like the other thing to consider is Indigenous folks have different relationships with being two-spirited. It's much different than me as a white person's relationship with being queer. And that's something that's a gift in their community. And it's stoic and it's really important to a lot of the structure of their communities. So yeah, I can understand. I would never be able to relate to someone who sees that as a choice or a downfall or a negative side, because that's just not something that's automatically built into their culture. So I'm not surprised that Ethan Bear was someone who had a statement like that. I think we continue to see that when he's asked about particular issues that challenge other players in the league.
Yes, and specifically because a lot of queer culture has been wiped out due to colonialism, especially like Indigenous cultures and stuff like that. So yeah, considering what Ali, you were saying about how important it is in those communities compared to, what it's like in a different, viewpoint. Some people tend to kind of overlook that and just be like, oh, it's a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's not a new thing whatsoever. People tend to have some recency bias when they come to see news headlines, but queer people have been here forever and queer people are going to stay here forever. So deal with it. Anyway, I think it's about time we could talk about the Alphabet Sports Collective for a little bit, which both of you are a part of. Would you like to take it away and explain kind of what y'all do and what y'all are all about?
I'm going to let Ali go.
Oh no, Sam, you're the host here. Yeah, well, I'll introduce myself because I'm certainly not a hockey personality or a Twitter personality like most of you folks. But my name is Ali. I'm on the board of directors for Alphabet Sports Collective. In my day job, I work in policy and government. So that was kind of part of the piece that I tried to bring to Alphabet Sports Collective on the back end. But really, I'm just friends and lucky to be colleagues with a bunch of folks on the board. I met Brock and started working with them a few years ago and got to meet Sam, and she's wonderful, as all you already know. But yeah, Alphabet Sports Collective is a queer-led not-for-profit organization. And as I'm sure you've seen in our mission or our vision, we're working to make hockey safer and more inclusive for folks of all genders and sexualities through 3 pillars: community building, education, and ultimately mobilizing our community. So yeah, that's a little bit about ABC. I'm not sure if folks saw on Twitter, but we had a launch party recently in March. We were really excited to get going. We had some of the team from SDPN there, which was really exciting. We had some former and current players. We had some executives from MLSC. We had lots of representatives from corporate companies across Canada who are working to become better allies and better use their voice and their platform in the pride space. We had lots of members of the queer community and our committees who are awesome and who have been doing just phenomenal work for 2 years to really get it off the ground. And yeah, it was a wonderful event to really kick it off and let people know that we're here and we're not going to allow hockey to continue as it is. And we just want to make it a more inclusive space. But I'd like to kick it over to Sam because I'm sure she has lots of thoughts to add there.
I think Ali did a fantastic job. And I know she says she's like she does policy work in the day, but Ali does a lot of the heavy lifting along with the rest of our working board. I know I should say Brock really wanted to be here tonight, but he left me a voice note earlier today sounding super, super sick. And so we told him to go to bed and rest up. Everybody tell Brock you hope he gets better soon and send him your positive vibes. And Ali very kindly jumped in, had a couple of espresso martinis, I understand, at dinner, so she could stay up late with us. But yeah, I think this idea really started with Brock. I think that's a fair thing to say. He's had this idea kind of since the day I met him on Twitter a few years ago. I remember talking to him and him saying, I want to start an organization that actually educates people, brings them in, and like really helps change the sport at every level, and especially in youth, at the youth level. And since then, he's, I think, started working on pulling together this amazing working board that I'm very lucky to be a part of. Obviously, Ali's part of it. Gabby Bain-Pettinger, like lots of great people in hockey who represent all different kinds of backgrounds. Chanel is obviously part of it. And I think it's a really cool collection of people, all of whom really just want to make the sport better for everyone and more inclusive.
Yes, it's a great organization. I believe Rob has put the link for their Twitter in the chat. That's what that's called. It's in the chat. So make sure to check them out. They did have their grand opening event recently. Well, grand open, like launch event.
Launch event.
Grand
I missed
opening.
out. I was so sad. I was so excited that producer Rob got to go. Had so much FOMO.
You know, there's benefits and drawbacks to having such a countrywide and really global team. And so we definitely miss Sam. Allison's out west too. Chanel wasn't able to make it either. So we're hoping that we've got some fun stuff coming up soon where everyone can make it in. But yeah, we missed you, Sam, definitely.
It looked like it was a blast. I was also like, it was great to see the NHL representation that turned out.
And really just their embracing the vibrance that we brought too. Like we were able to have drag shows. We were able to have queer producers that helped with videos. Robert's one of them. Shout out Robert. But we had a queer photographer. Like we really did a lot of kind of similar things to the Canucks, like using queer folks, working with them locally, making sure those partnerships came out. So we are queer led and we are really kind of sticking to what we've promised and building up our own community. So yeah, I totally agree. The reception was more than I expected. It was wonderful.
It's great to have kind of an organization for people to kind of aspire to that kind of includes everybody, because there are certain LGBT organizations that are, in sports and stuff like that aren't really welcoming to everybody. at the moment. But it is good that there is a fresh face on the scene. You should definitely check them out on Twitter and their website as well. Yeah, it's a great organization, and you guys will do great things in the future, I believe. So yeah.
Okay.
Also, the launch event looked super fun. I saw a bunch of like the photos of like the sing-alongs and stuff like that. So that looked awesome.
I'm working
I
on
would. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
I was just gonna say I'm working on convincing Brock to do the next event here.
That would be great.
Hey, I'll go on a global tour. I never need more excuses to spend my money. I'll do it, especially for stuff like this. But yeah, I wouldn't be a shameless plugger if I didn't say that. Just to anyone, if you don't know what the org's about, reach out to Brock, reach out to Bane, Sam, Gabby, Chanel, any of us really. They're all super present, but I know those folks are easier to locate on Twitter. Or go on our website. We're always looking for volunteers. We can use anything from donation of time to platform to sharing our message. If you have capacity, financial donations, we're looking for efforts all across the board. It's not just money. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to get to know the community, to understand the stories, and to start working with folks and building things up. So I just wanted to plug that.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Think have we reached the end of the show? Is this all we want?
I think
All
it's
right.
a good way to end it.
I think it's a good way to end it. All right. Well, thank you very much, Allie, for joining us today. Thank you, Sam, as well for joining me.
Thanks for having us on, Kaya.
Yeah. I have been Kaya May. This has been Game Over Vancouver. The Vancouver Canucks lost 5-4 to the Flames in overtime on Pride Night, even though the last lead they had the Flames, they won 7-1, but we don't talk about that. Thank you, Tyler Toffoli, for scoring against your own team. Congratulations, Aiden McDonough, for scoring your first NHL goal. Congratulations, Troy Stetcher, for scoring against your team that you should definitely re-sign with, and I'm totally not biased just because you're from Richmond. Anyway, good night, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful, safe rest of your night, day, wherever you are. It's kind of late here. It's probably later for everyone else. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for having me, folks.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.